Friends, you just saw Dr. Jenny, Dr. Jaffe, and Commander Will go in search of that signal, but they reached an unknown planet, GTL-6I. There they found a crashed, high-tech alien spacecraft that was scanning all their information. But all of a sudden, their companion Will disappeared mysteriously, and the spacecraft's screen alerted them that there are 3 different lives on this planet. If you choose the wrong path, you'll be lost forever. After that, Jenny and Jaffe have to choose different paths. As soon as Jaffe enters that light, he goes back to the millions of years old Ice Age, where he sees half-human Neanderthals alive. And Jenny reaches the age when dinosaurs ruled the Earth. Now, all 3 astronauts are trapped in different times, in the past, in the ancient world, and Will is still in the unknown 3rd life. Will they ever meet again? Now, the real story begins. The icy wind was getting stronger. Jaffe was still standing some distance from that huge Neanderthal settlement. The flames of fire were swirling in the air, and the smell of the cave lion's flesh was spreading in the cold air. But it wasn't just food for Jaffe. It was a question of survival. He looked at his hands, modern hands, but now almost useless. He said to himself, if I want to live here, I have to become like them. But now, the circumstances were not giving him time to think. Jaffe's hunger was burning like fire inside him. His stomach was growling. Weakness was coming to his feet. He knew that if he kept hiding for longer, the cold and hunger would kill him. Gradually, he was getting compelled to go to those Neanderthals. Then his eyes went to the fire. They were cooking the cave lion's flesh in the fire, and some people were eating it. The smell of the burnt flesh was spreading in the air, but there was another feeling bigger than hunger: fear. He knew that if he took a wrong step, they could consider him a victim and he would lose his life. His heart was fighting a battle between hunger and fear. He said to himself. He stood there for a few moments. The cold air was piercing his face. Then he took a deep breath. I will do anything tonight, he made up his mind. But tomorrow, at any cost, I will have to go to them. How long should I hide and die like this? He looked at the Neanderthals sitting next to the fire for the last time. Then he slowly moved back. He had to find a place where he could spend the night, away from the wind, away from the wild animals. A little far away, he saw a half-open crack. He carefully walked towards it. As soon as he entered, the cold air was a little less. Jaffe sat on the wall. His body was tired. He closed his eyes and remembered Jenny and Will. Just one night, and everything will change tomorrow, he said slowly. But he did not know that this night was not only full of cold, but also full of danger. As the night deepened, the cold became even more cruel. The snowy air came in through the cracks of the rocks and began to tear Jeff's body. His fingers were now numb, and the cold of an empty stomach was becoming even more unbearable. He sat on his knees, as if he was trying to get a little warmth in his own body. Then his eyes fell on the distant white snow. At first he thought it might be an ordinary animal, but as soon as he saw it walking clearly on the moonlit night, Jeff's breath stopped. It was a huge lion, the heartless predator of this snowy world. Jeff's heart was beating fast. In a trembling voice, he said to himself, I just want to escape tonight somehow. Tomorrow I will go to him. I can't hide like this and live for long. If I want to stay alive, I have to stay with him. Will, Jenny, where are you? I don't know what world you are in, but wherever you are, stay safe. There was a pain in his voice. He could not control his emotions. In this unknown, millions of years old time, there was no one on Earth who knew him, neither his name, nor his identity, nor his time. It was just him and this heartless, ancient world. Somehow the night passed between fear, cold, and restlessness. Slowly, light began to rise. The morning sun was spreading a golden layer on the snow. Jeff headed for the frozen river flowing near his trembling feet. The river was not frozen completely. There was a light breeze on the bank. He sat on his knees, filled his palms with water, and washed his face. Cold water hit his pale face, and he again realized the reality. Then he lost his sight. Across the snowy plain, a group of Neanderthals was moving fast. They were together again. They had a stone spear in their hands and a purpose in their walk. Jeff understood immediately that they had set out to hunt again. He took a deep breath, and without delay, he followed them again. But this time their direction had changed. They were not heading towards the sea, but towards a vast, dense forest. Jeff understood that today's hunt would not be small. They would need a lot of food for many days. As they left the snowy plain, they were slowly moving towards the dark forest. The height of the trees was extraordinary. The snow on the dense trunks was like a thick layer of time. Jeff had no idea that the same forest would be known as Siberia in the future. But now, it was just a dense, forested, and dangerous world. He walked with them for a long time. On the snow-covered ground, the group of Neanderthals was moving ahead in a continuous line. Jeff noticed carefully that the leader of the group was walking ahead of everyone. He also had a small world with him, his wife, strong and alert, whose eyes were fixed on every direction. A small child, who sometimes held his mother's hand, sometimes curiously watched the marks on the snow. And his daughter, who was walking very calmly with him, but she looked as if she was lost in herself. Seeing all this, Jeff realized that it was not just a group of hunters, it was also a family. Then Jeff noticed carefully that the small child who was walking with the leader was the same child who had come to the seaside and ran towards the seal, and the one who had lost his prey that day. The leader's face was filled with anger, and he scolded him in harsh words. But today, that child was again among the same group, not scared, but learning. Jeff suddenly realized that this world is tough, but those who make mistakes here are not killed immediately. They are made strong. The child had a different sparkle in his eyes today, as if he did not want to repeat his previous mistake. The jungle was slowly becoming scary, and Jeff's mind was filled with a strange worry and anxiety. Today's prey was going to be much more dangerous than before. Everyone was alert. Every step was taken carefully. But Jeff was still unaware of whom he was going to hunt today. Then Jeff saw that suddenly the whole group slowed down. The leader raised his hand and indicated everyone to stop. In a few moments, everyone began to spread in different directions. Someone hid behind the trees. Someone sat down among the bushes. Someone started looking at the marks on the snow carefully. This was not an unorganized action. It was a strategy before the hunt. Jeff understood that they were preparing to surround a big animal. There was not only cold in the air, but also a deep tension. The rustling of leaves, the sound of a branch breaking, was all indicating that the prey is nearby. Jeff's heart began to beat fast again. He still did not know which animal they were going to face, but it was decided that this competition would not be easy. Then Jeff's eyes went to a corner of the jungle. A huge animal came out. Heavy body, thick skin, long tusks, and a sharp horn shining on his forehead. It was a Romus panda, one of the most dangerous and powerful animals. Jeff's eyes spread in fear. Now he understood that the preparation that had been going on for so long was for this prey. The panda was slowly walking on the snow and moving in their direction. He had no idea that he had already been surrounded. The leader gave a slight signal, and the next moment, the entire jungle came to life. Neanderthals came out. The elephants rose in the air and attacked at the same time. The panda roared loudly. A man fell very far from the roan. In an instant, the entire jungle became a battlefield. Jeff's heart began to beat fast. It was not just a prey, it was a direct clash of life and death. The struggle continued. Soon, all the Neanderthals were injured. Some fell, some got up, some took the spear again and moved on. But in the end, they killed that Romus panda. As soon as he fell on the snow with a heavy body, there was silence for a while. Then suddenly, everyone's voices echoed. They started celebrating the victory, because this prey was not just a victory, it was their life. And this food could keep the entire group alive for at least 12 to 15 days. The fire was lit. There was fatigue on the faces, but there was a gleam of victory in the eyes. Jeff was watching all this from a distance. The leader congratulated everyone in gestures. He lifted his spear in the air, and the entire group expressed happiness together. Some people were supporting the injured. Some gathered near the fire. The satisfaction of victory was clearly visible on their faces. Then Jeff's eyes fell on the young daughter of the leader. She was sitting on one side. She was neither laughing nor participating in the celebration. She was just standing nearby, touching a small flowery plant. Her fingers were slipping on the leaves, and she closed her eyes for a moment, as if at that moment she didn't care about this victory or the prey. Seeing her, a light hope arose in Jeff. Maybe, he thought to himself, if I go in front of her, she won't be as aggressive as the other Neanderthals. Maybe she could understand that I am not a threat to them. And for the first time, a small spark of hope was lit in Jeff's heart. There we see Jenny. The moment she had reached, there was danger every moment. There was a dense and mysterious forest all around her. The air was heavy, wet, and strange sounds were echoing all around her. There were huge dinosaurs in front of her. Some were so big that the earth trembled. Some were slowly searching for prey among the bushes. Jenny's eyes were filled with fear. She couldn't understand how she had reached in such a long time. "How is this possible?" she said to herself. "This is not a dream." But there was an open truth in front of her. Her heart was beating fast with fear. She knew it would not be easy to stay alive here. Jenny looked around with trembling breaths. There was only one thought in her mind again and again. If only Jeff and I had gone into the same light, we might have been able to stay alive together. But now I am alone in this millions of years old life. Her eyes became numb. The heavy footsteps reminded her every moment. This world does not have mercy. She was alone. There was no one to support her. Only she and this scary ancient Earth. Part 5 is coming very soon. In that, you will see Jeff's courage, Jenny's wisdom, and the story of both staying alive. How Jeff will immerse himself in that snowy world and start a new evolution. How Jenny will understand every step in that dangerous world. Will their destiny bring them together again? Stay tuned to find out, because the real struggle is about to begin.